Hello everyone, welcome to the first video on the channel and potentially the first video of a series. Just to let you know, the gameplay is shot in 10-minute cuts, so where I stitch them together might not look the best, but just go along with me. I am playing this on an Xbox One S, which is not meant for this type of game, but it should work. It's just some parts can be a little bit laggy, and I do have prior experience with this game. I have completed all the missions on a separate account, so this will not be a first time experience. And later on in the video, I will show you a different world that I have, which I will give you the option to either continue with what we have and what we are going to be doing in the first 40 minutes of this video, or we can continue on from where I have on the other world. As you can see, I have the world at the bottom, and here I'm just launching down to the first planet, which I almost never pronounce right, so I'm not even going to try. And around about now, I am scoping out my landscape, trying to see what I have near me. I can see a patch of resin in the top corner, which will be useful. And I can also see that I'm next to a forest, which will be good for organic and getting research. I also see that I have some compound over next to the forest. And I just go along with the basically you do during every run. Now right here, I do not know what happened to these trees. I think they got uprooted whenever the base spat out its black floor. They just started spinning like crazy, which is kind of funny. And from here, I go collect the oxygenator and the small printer because one of those is required. The other one is, might as well get it from here. This oxygenator produces oxygen that can run along tethers, which you will see in a minute. This small printer will take resources that I give it, and it can turn it into other stuff, which you'll also see in a minute. You can see I just got some tethers, which are those things up above my backpack. Those things allow me to extend the oxygen, which is shown by a blue cord. They can also extend power. You'll see what they look like in just a second. Right here. This is what the tethers look like. They just carry oxygen and power. I quickly start going over to collect the compound because you need compound. And these typically spawn in patches around the world. They have different densities. Some are more compact and they have a lot of stuff in them. Others can be more spread out and not have a lot of stuff in them, but it's still compound, so I'll still take it. I start getting ready to print a medium platform type A, which I only ever use at the beginning because there are better platforms to use. I go over and get some resin because that's what I need in order to be able to make that medium platform type A. You'll see what the printer looks like while it's printing in just a second. This resin pocket is not very dense, but it'll still get me the resin, so I'm fine. And you can tell you get one node of a specific material whenever you hear that little ding. And then this is what the printer looks like while it's printing. Each printer has a slightly different animation just because they look different. These platforms can be used to put something on it. They can be used to extend power from one place to another. This is the menu with all the blueprints. You can see on the left side all the blueprints I have, which are in blue, the ones I don't have, which are in red or gray, and the ones that I can afford to get, which are in gray. You can see what it's called around the middle right of the screen. You can see what it costs right where my mouse is at. You can see how much bytes it costs, which are in the top corner up there. And you'll see how you get bytes in just a minute whenever I start going and try to get some. This is one way you can unlock bytes. It's from this mission station, which you have one in your backpack as well, but you cannot receive any missions that do not have bytes. If it's bytes or blueprints, you can accept it from your backpack. Otherwise, you have to get to one of these stations to be able to select it. I'm sorry for all the background noise. I think the yard guys are here. Here I'm printing a medium printer, which is used to make most of like the appliances and stuff, like furnaces, soil centrifuge, and stuff like that, which you'll see those in a minute. And here's what I mean by they can be used to extend power via these cables. Now each printer here and most appliances use some amount of power. The base produces a little bit of power. I can't remember if it was 1 SU per second or half an SU. You can probably see right there if you can read it. The small printer takes 1 SU of power, the medium printer takes 2. If you do not have enough power to be able to use it, then it'll just go slower. Here I'm showing the terrain tools. This one is the digging tool, which does what it sounds like. This is the flattening tool, which also does what it sounds like. It just like flattens out an area. And I'm about to show the building tool here, which just builds an area if you want to build like a staircase or something or anything like that. So right here I'm just flattening out the area that I just screwed up. So, yeah. And I'm about to start getting ready to go down into the mines because each and every planet has resources on it. Some resources spawn on the surface, others spawn in mountains, which there aren't any nearby, but you might see some if you want to stick around for whenever we go to my other world. And then a lot of them are in the caves, which is stuff like metals and stuff like that. And then a couple times here I tried to start sliding to show you guys what that's like because it's more fun and faster than walking or running. And it just looks really fun too. Sorry for the silence right here, but I just can't figure out what to say. Because it's pretty self-explanatory. And here we made it to the caves. I realized my oxygen was going down, as you can see by that little blue bar on my backpack. So I connect this back up. And then I go down to the floor right here. And I go see if I can find some compounds so I can make some tethers. And what do you know, I happen to find some compound right to the right. And there's also some resin nearby, but you know, I don't really need resin right now, so I just make some tethers. And you can see, like, we have the crafting menu in our backpack, which is that little thing at the bottom. You have the oxygen, which is that blue bar on top, and then the yellow bar in the middle is your power, because your backpack is basically a battery. Every time you print something or use a drill mod, it will use power. So if that power runs out, then you cannot craft anything or use any sort of terrain tool boosters, which just allow you to dig through harder materials or dig through materials faster. Here I find some plants, and most plants here you want to avoid because most of them are dangerous. As you can see, these I'm pretty sure are defensive, which means whenever you dig them up they explode, or whenever you get too close to them and they explode. I'm going to show you what the damage looks like here in just a second, right here. That red outline shows that I am hurt, and that means if I am out of oxygen, I want to get to oxygen. If I'm hurt, then I just want to wait a second. This is a research item which can be used to get more bytes, and a research station, which you'll see in a minute. And from here I just continue on through the caves. I find a pretty dense pocket of compound, so I get a bunch of that. And then I start crafting tethers because, you know, tethers are important. And here I show the menus, like if you want to pause and skip through and see what all these are, you can, but I'm just going to quickly skip over them. So these are all like the stuff you can do, like controls and stuff. These are the different planets. I remember one time I actually set up a full-time base on Glacio, which is the farthest planet from the sun. And yeah, these are all the resources you can find or make or whatever. Again, if you want to pause and see all this, then you can. And here's all the plants, but and now I continue on, trying to see if I can find some laterite, which is aluminum material, or anything new that I haven't shown you guys yet. I think up here I find a material that I, again, never pronounced correctly. So, and again, sorry about the background noise. Here I start getting some scrap, which is useful later game, but not as much early game like we are right now. Because as of right now, we do not have a trade center or a scrapper to be able to scrap this down into actual scrap. So yeah, that's more of a later game to middle game type of thing, so not as much use right now. If we continue on with this world, it will be soon, but not right now. And those things are one of the ways you can get bytes. You can research them. And then here's that resource that I also don't think I'll ever pronounce correctly. I just get some of it to show you guys what it is, basically. And then I go up running again, trying to see if I can find something. I'm hoping for laterite because that's more useful early game and you need it to make a lot of stuff. So I go out looking for that. I find a power cell, which is basically like a battery, but once you use it up, it is dead. Like, you can never recharge it. So I keep that on me just in case I end up disconnecting from the tethers and I need power for something. So, and I continue walking. I end up running to the wall of a cave. I go back, see if I can find another way around. It ends up taking me a while to end up finding anything useful. I think I end up finding some quartz up here, which you'll see in a second. I never find laterite, but I do end up finding one of these, which will let me show you what it is. This thing is like another way you can get research. You can put power into this one, as shown by the power symbol, and then those little black bars at the bottom are like how much power you need in order to be able to unlock it. The top will pop off and then you can research it. And then here's the quartz up here. This stuff is useful for making glass and beacons or stuff like that. Other than that, it doesn't really have much of a use. It can be also used for some later game containers, but yeah. And then this is one of the offensive plants. That gas will actually kill me, or at least it'll do damage, which will then kill me. And again, if you dig those up, they will explode. But I do end up digging one of them up because they drop something which you can use as kind of like a plant, which is really just for fun, though they don't really do much. I think it's this one that I end up digging up. I'm pretty sure. No, these don't explode, my bad. So then I dig through this wall because I can see that there's something behind it, or at least an open area. But there really wasn't. So then I head back over here. I pick up these two things, which are like the plant seeds. Then I research this. And here I showed a way you can find your way back with tethers. You can just pick it up and see which way has the oxygen, and then that's the way back to your base. And I just wander around in the cave for a lot of time, just trying to see if I can find something that will be useful. I almost ran straight into those, but then I remembered that if I run into them, then I die, so stop myself. I don't think I actually end up finding laterite in this mission down to the cave. I think I end up finding it later. I end up finding this, which is another way you can get research. For this one, you have to input a specific resource into it, and it'll do the same thing. This is not the right resource, but I'll show you like how to do it. You'll stick it onto there, it'll consume it, then the top pops off and you can get some research. Then from here I just end up going around the cave for a good bit, see if I can find something. Just making my way back home, keeping an eye out, see if I can find something like laterite or anything of use. I ended up taking this back so that way I can show you what the research station is later. It might be called Research Center, I'm not sure. And then I make it back to my ramp, start going back up to the surface. And then from here, I noticed that the tether was not stuck to the ground, so I went back down and I fixed that, because I like everything being stuck to the ground, especially tethers. And then here, I plant those like seeds. Whenever you plant them, they become harmless. And then I just end up harvesting those and planting them a couple times just for fun. Then right here, I go and get some. I don't end up finding much resin here, but I get something, so I take it. Then from here, I go over and I accept some of my missions that I've completed. I get some more medium platform A's. I get a storage thing, medium storage, which is basically what it sounds like. It just stores some items you have. And from here, I go ahead and I unlock the medium platform, not the medium, the large platform type B, which is the platform that I use the most by far. Just because it's so much better than all the other large platforms, and it's obviously better than the small ones. I unlock the smelting furnace. I go over here, see if I can craft something. I don't remember what I wanted, but yeah. Then I go over and get some more resin. This was a pretty okay pocket. Had a good bit in it, so I just got that, then came back to get whatever I wanted to get. I end up waiting for this to print, which takes a minute, but it ends up printing eventually. Then I harvest these things so I can make more of them. Because whenever you harvest them, it makes 2 of them. So then you can make double the amount that you already had. You do have to manually place them in the ground. You can't just let them fall to the ground then plant them. So I planted these 4, and I went back over. I think the enlarged platform type B was done by now. Yep, it's almost done. And pretty much everything from the medium printer will, whenever it's done, be in this box, which you have to unpack, which you'll see in just a minute. Right here, you'll see me unpack it. The large ones are also in a box, but the box is way bigger. And then from here, I try to get the smelting furnace. I go over and get some compound. I end up getting some resin while I'm at it, just because it was in the way. And I'm pretty sure it was right here. I want someone to tell me where this compound went. Seriously, where did that go? So then I end up getting some more compound because the last one I had turned into a magician. Then once I've got the compound, I head back over. This one does not end up phasing through the ground, so this one I can actually use. At the same time, I never dropped this one, so, you know. I let that print. In the meantime, I headed down there. I can't remember why I went down there. We're about to find out, I guess. Apparently, I also don't know why I went down there. So then I head back up because most of my stuff is on the surface, and this is what I mean by whenever the printers don't have enough power, they just work slower. So this ended up taking a while. But then it finally finishes, and then I throw it on the platform, I unpack it, and then I show you guys what it can do. It basically just smelts all the resources that are smeltable, and this happens to be one of them. I'm pretty sure at this point I was trying to make a small battery, which I'm pretty sure costs 2,000 bytes. And then I decided to make a small generator, which is exactly what it sounds like. So I go back over, get some more compound. I craft the small generator so I can start making some more power, getting stuff running more efficiently. And this thing finishes smelting, so yeah. And then this is what that small generator looks like. It will take organic and then it will turn it into power. You can turn it off or on. The medium generator takes carbon, which you'll see those later on in the video at my other base. And then from here, I'm pretty sure I start printing something. Nope, I don't. I go walk around for a while, get some more carbon. Or at least try to, but there's not much here. So then I go ahead, collect all the stuff I have. One of them happens to be a small battery, which I was trying to get. This thing can just store power and then give it back to whatever it's connected to whenever it needs it. Like you can see, it's filling up right here. Whenever power is being taken from it, it will just go the opposite direction. It'll just start going backwards. All the yellow bars will go away, which is the same as how my backpack works. So then I make another battery, throw it on here, just so I can have more power. And here I complete a mission, which gives me 2 schematics or blueprints or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that research doesn't end up getting used until I make a research chamber, which is not for a good minute. I just expand the area, make room for this new platform to go, connect it to the power. And I don't quite remember what I put there. I think I put like 3 different things on that platform. So, yeah. up standing here for a minute just figuring out what to do. I decide to finally get something out of my inventory. I check how much something needs to print. I go unlock something else, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that. The soil centrifuge, which you will see me use in a minute. Like more later, between like 5 and 10 minutes from now. I'm pretty sure. And then I head down because I'm pretty sure I needed carbon, but the pocket that I had up near at the surface was nearly out. So I went down here. Again, I try to slide, don't end up getting it to happen. So I get some compound. Pretty sure this was for the research chamber. I'm pretty sure I just ended up getting some extra because while I'm down there, might as well. And then from here, I'm pretty sure I start heading back. Nope, I continue on. I'm pretty sure around here is where I find some laterite, I think. So I go out looking for a while. And all those like platforms and like broken stuff you can scrap down once you get like some shredders, which those are more mid-game. So we aren't gonna have them on this world for a little while if we want to stay on this world. And then right here is where I find the laterite. It's that blue, red, kind of blocky circle stuff that I'm mining right here. This will be able to get me aluminum, which can be used for tractors, aluminum alloy, which is more mid to late game. You can get a lot of stuff from this. I think I actually end up getting a little bit too much because I'm pretty sure I overfill my backpack. Yeah, this ends up on the ground, so I have to manually carry this back to my base. I realize that there's a plant trying to kill me, but it's a little bit too far away, so it doesn't end up doing anything. I start heading back. It's a little bit slower since I'm carrying something, because when you're carrying something in Astroneer, you're gonna move a little bit slower. The heavier the item, the slower you move, and I'm pretty sure if you're holding like a large print box, then you just won't move at all, and you have to move the item with your cursor. So this is a strategy that I use a lot of the time. It's just like grab it, drag it up, and then drop it, because it's always faster. It doesn't work as well whenever you're going like through like a tunnel or something, which I'm doing right now. So yep, I head up to go get this smelted into aluminum. I don't actually think I end up using aluminum this episode. I might use it if we continue with this world. I throw it on here, the furnace takes it, I throw the other one on. I turn on my small generator just because the furnace takes up a lot of power compared to what I have. So then this ends up getting printed. And I'm pretty sure right now you can see my batteries draining. And here I can see that for both the things I want to make, I need some compound. Then I go in here, I accept the mission that I completed, which gives me another medium storage. I finally start emptying out my backpack after God knows how long. I end up throwing this so that can smell it as well. I throw the aluminum on there because I don't think I'm gonna end up using it, so. Then I head down into the caves, pretty sure to collect some compound. Oh, and by the way, that little like blue ring around where I'm digging, that shows me where I can dig, or it shows me how much soil I have in my soil canister, which is only really useful once you have the soil centrifuge, which you'll see in a minute. And it's making me a little pathway so I can reach all the compound that's over here. I try to get a good bit, cause just so I don't have to come back down here and get more. And from here I head up to the surface because I'm pretty sure I'm about to print something, so yeah. Then I come up, I put the organic next to my small generator so that whenever it finishes up using that one, it'll have another one that it can use. I grab the aluminum. That's why I needed aluminum. I start printing the soil centrifuge, which I don't end up using for a while actually. I get something else printing. This is the research chamber. I decided to use the research chamber, I'm pretty sure right after I finish printing it. I throw it on here, I unpack it. I throw the actual research on there so that I can start researching it once I tell it to. Up in the top corner you can see how many bytes it has. You can see how much power it's using. You can see how many bytes per minute it's making and how long it's going to take to finish it all. So that'll be getting me some bytes over the course of a couple minutes. It'll get me, I'm pretty sure, a couple hundred. Then around about here I just spend way too long messing with this door for absolutely no reason. I'm just trying to see how short of a time I can get it to open for. And I finally decide to stop playing around. And then here you can see that once it has a lower power, it'll start going slower. And then when it has more power, it'll continue at its normal speed. And believe it or not, it's actually right here where I figured out what that little power bar means. Up until now, I've never known. Yeah, this was probably one of the only times in this video where it's also a first time for me. And then here, pretty sure I started getting ready to make the platform for the soil centrifuge. Yep. I grab all the resin that I need for it. I start printing it. You can see about halfway through it started slowing down because I didn't have enough power. My batteries ran out. I take the platform. I go make some room for it, I'm pretty sure. I top up the small generator so I can keep going for a little bit longer. Unpack this, connect it to power, and then I throw the soil centrifuge on. I unpack that, and I'm pretty sure in a minute I'm going to show you guys what it does. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this can make almost any natural resource that can spawn on this planet, or at least that's on every planet. You put soil in, which fills up that purple bar at the end, and that says like how many of them you can make from the numbers all the way on the right. The more expensive the material, the more soil it's gonna cost you. Like some of these I can't even make one of. And then each, like to fill up the whole bar, it takes 2 full soil canisters. So I'm just trying to find a resource that I could make that I might need to use so I can show you guys how this works. Here, I would like to say that I started cleaning up, but that's never gonna happen, so I just start jumping around for a good minute. I think I was waiting on something, but I'm not sure. And then in a minute you're gonna see another way that the research chamber can work. So yeah, currently you can see how the soil centrifuge works. We're currently really low on power though, so I had to go out and see if I can get some more organic. Thankfully I'm right next to a forest, which has probably the most organic in any biome on this planet. So I get some organic. And then here you can see another use of the research chamber. It can research like natural materials. So I stopped that so I wouldn't use as much power, and also so the generator could have it. And then this stuff continues spinning around as it continues to make it from the soil. It ends up taking a good minute. It normally does take a good minute even if you have sufficient power. It's not the fastest, but it's a really good way to get any like material that's on every planet. I get this to continue researching just because I don't need the extra power right now. I start printing another platform. And then this one I'm pretty sure was for the printers, but I'm not completely sure. You can see my batteries in the corner running out of power. This ends up taking a second. You can see how far along it is by the resin that's on the top of the printer head. However much left it has is around about how much percent it has left to print. Around about. But yeah, the reason I'm making this for the printers is because if you put storage on a platform and then connect the printer to it, the printer can actually take stuff from the storage in order to be able to print stuff. So it's just, in my opinion, a better way to do things. Instead of manually grabbing the materials, going over to the printer and then telling it to print something, you can just tell it to print and it will take it straight from the storage that it's got. And then here's where I start sorting this part out, just moving everything out of the way. And I start connecting this to power because printers need power, as you should know by now. I throw this on here, then I throw the medium printer on, and then I'm pretty sure here I throw, this on. I'm pretty sure I put the 2 batteries on instead of just leaving them on the ground. Yeah, I put the batteries on. And then you're about to see another way that these storage platforms can be. There's 2 positions they can be in. You're about to see the second position. It's the flat position, which I think is better for most scenarios. You've got this thing, continue to scan the organic. You can also see around about what percentage it's done based on the blue, like, water, I guess you could call it, that's surrounding the resource. Once that blue stuff gets high enough, that'll mean it completed the research scanning. Then I go over here, I plant some more of these things, I wait for them to grow. Then I end up planting them again. Just because, why not? And I'm getting a total of 16 of the things, and now here I'm going to show you my other world. If you don't want any spoilers, I'd recommend leaving the video now. And then a lot of the times on loading screens, it will just freeze like this. And now you can see here, it's just like my other base, just everything is just thrown around the place. And then you're about to see my whole storage system and then smelting system. That is probably overly complicated. And this is my smelting system. Those auto arms, the little resource that's in like the middle of them, says that they can only pick up this. So I have them to where they will only pick up like those smeltable resources. I have one auto arm for each resource that can be smelted. All that runs into a furnace. I'm going to show you like how it works in just a minute. you just saw the QRTG in my backpack, which generates 1 power per every second. Then there's the RTGs, which are behind me right now, which generate 4 per second. There's the large printer. And sorry if this is rapid fire. You can slow the video down if you want. It's just I'm trying to cover it all without making the video too long, even though it's already an hour. These are a better form of storage. These are made of titanium though, so they are a little bit harder to get. You have to go to like different planets in order to get it. Then here I show you my spaceship that I have, and then I show you that I am not very far on the missions, so if you guys want me to go from this world and then just beat all the missions and then do stuff like that, then I will. These resource canisters are just a better way of storing things. They can store 32 of each resource, which is why I have so many of them, because I want to have room for every resource in the game, nearly, and then every smelted version of that. This is my automatic way to get bytes. And then that thing on the right is an atmospheric condenser. It takes gases from the air, although it does cost power, which is why there's so many RTGs around it. Then this auto arm is taking the gas from there, throwing it into a research chamber, which is then researching that and turning it into bytes, so I have an automatic way to get bytes. This is my rover. It has some drilling mods on it and some pavement mods, so now I can drill through the ground like this. And then it automatically collects the resources and throws them into the storage. And then I can take that, and this is where I show you how my automatic sorting system and stuff works. Now currently I am full on organic, so this is going to skip straight past the organic container. You're going to see what the containers look like whenever they pick stuff up in a minute. And this is just going to go straight to my smelting system. So each of those things can hold 32 of an item, but you can also they can technically hold 33 because you can put one more on the top of them. And then this is where that like automatic item thing is, where it only takes the smelted items. This took me way longer than I'd like to admit to set up. This will end up going through this whole passage and then start getting smelted. I'll show you what these train tracks are for in a minute. This smelts, and then I have a different auto arm, which is just something that like takes stuff from one area and then moves it to another. It'll take from the green area and then put it onto the blue. It'll take from the furnace output, and then it'll run that through the system again. Now right now I'm full on carbon, which is smelted organic, so it's going to go straight to my automatic carbon dealing with thing, because carbon is the stuff that I get the most. Like whenever I'm out collecting materials, I'll get a ton of organic. That all goes through the system and gets smelted, so I have a specific auto arm made just for carbon. So it takes the carbon and throws it onto some medium generators, which take carbon in order to make 9 power instead of just the 2 that the other one did. So this is how I deal with all the extra carbon, and now I'm going to show you how the actual storage canisters work. I am going to get these out of the way just so I can show you guys what it also looks like whenever they take the resource. Alright, now I'm going to show you how they work. Alright, so this green line means that it is completely full. It has 32 resources inside of it right now. If the light is not green, then it has less than 32. You can see how many it has by the little menu on it. But yeah, you can score 33 in it because of that extra resource that you can put on the top of it. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever you throw them in there. So that resource will go right there. It'll get consumed. It'll get thrown in there. The light turns green because that is now full on the inside. And then I'll just put this one back on there just so I can have it actually completely full. So that's my storage system. I have it for nearly every resource in the game, so that's good. And then side note, on every planet I also have a large rover that is for getting materials. But I also have that thing that I just showed you a second ago. It's like this weird thing for like these little creatures that you can get. And now I'm going to show you the train and this little excavator thing. There's always a little lag whenever I get into the train just because of the console I'm playing on. It's just a little bit slow. You can see the small rocket ship that I used to fly before I got the bigger one. And the only difference between them is that one of them has more storage. And this train track basically just allows it to go either forward or backward, and it just follows the train. It's faster than the rovers by far, so this is how I get over to my ammonium miner thing. This stuff I can set it on an ammonium patch. It will slowly mine it. It's way more efficient than just rovers. You can get way more ammonium out of it, or any sort of resource that you have it put on. And then you can see by the little green bar on the side how much ammonium is below it. Now here it took me forever to realize that the thing wasn't actually plugged in. So just ignore this whole confusion. It took me way longer than I'd like to admit. So yeah, that green bar shows how much like concentration it is. The higher the green bar, the more resource there is that it can mine. So that's my auto extractor. You're gonna see it in action in just a second. Whenever I finally get it plugged in. Here I'm just messing around with the power extenders, trying to get them to where I can plug the thing in. And now it's actually working. So yeah, it just slowly gathers material from the pocket and puts it on its storage on the top. And this part was the game lagging. It was not me just standing still. Almost every time I get in the train, it just freezes. And here I'm showing off the light, which is on the right side of the train. And now I've arrived here. You can stop the train in two ways. You can either get off like I did, or you can actually stop it by pressing backwards. Right here, I'm pretty sure I'm just trying to think of something else to show you, because I know there's more stuff here that I haven't shown. So I decided to show this, which can let you trade for every natural resource in the game. So that's pretty useful for filling up my entire storage system, because I've been trying to get it full for a while. This thing takes scrap, which I briefly mentioned earlier in the other world. This is one of the scrappers that I have. Right now I'm just trying to throw enough junk into it to where I can get one full piece of scrap. You can see it coming out the side. Well, you're gonna see it a little bit better in just a second whenever I throw something else in there. I was just trying to find something that was junk that I could throw in there. I end up throwing this in there, and you can see it start building up near the top of the screen, top center, roundabout. This is how you get scrap. There are 3 different sizes for these shredders. This is the largest, and it basically just controls like what size of thing you can scrap. And this is showing like what happens whenever your jetpack runs out of fuel. I'm pretty sure I go get more fuel and then I show you guys what the trade platform does. So right now I'm going to get some hydrazine, which is the fuel that my ship uses, and this jetpack. And now I have more jetpack fuel, so now I can go fly for longer. So yeah, the scrap you just throw on the platform that the trade platform's on. It'll take it, then just press like trade, and it'll go up and trade for whatever you selected. And there's one more thing in my backpack which I'm about to talk about. And the thing in my backpack that is right next to the QRTG and above the soil canister is called a portable oxygenator. It uses up, I'm pretty sure it's 1 power per second, but you don't have to use tethers, so it's just more convenient. And you see how this works. It just gives you the resource you wanted to trade for. And then this is basically what the name says. It's a portable smelting furnace. This is Astroneer. It's at the center of every single planet. It can be used to trade for more valuable stuff, like the portable smelting furnaces, which only spawn naturally, or you can trade for them. Remember to comment which world you would want me to continue from. Also remember to like and subscribe. You don't have to, but it supports the channel. Episode 2 should be coming out in about a week. I plan on doing weekly videos. If you would like me to play another game, comment that as well, and I will take your comment into consideration. Bye.